Welcome back to another coaster class. Today's lecture will cover the different types and models of roller coasters. Now, last class we went over who built these rides, and today we'll look at terms such as hypers, inverts, and hybrids. Now, take out your pencils and let's begin. Now, to begin today's class, we're going to start with height classifications. Back in 1989, Cedar Point debuted Magnum XL 200, built by Aerodynamics. Now, this was the first full-circuit roller coaster to top 200 feet. Now, to promote the coaster, Cedar Fair coined the term hypercoaster. Now, technically this applies to any roller coaster with a drop more than 200 feet, not just the height. So if a ride was 190 feet tall, but say it drops into a valley or a tunnel, as long as the drop is 200 feet or more, it's a hypercoaster. Now moving bigger, in 2000 Cedar Point again broke the height barrier with Millennium Force as the first full-circuit coaster to break 300 feet in height and drop. Now the company once again coined a new term, Giga Coaster. Now once again, a Giga Coaster is any coaster that has a drop above 300 feet, not just height, such as Kings Island's Orion. Finally, Cedar Point again decided to raise the ante and build the 420-foot Top Thrill dragster, who, like Millennium Force, was also built by Intamin. Now the world's first full-circuit 400-foot coaster, and you guessed it, a new term, the world's first Strata Coaster, in reference to the stratosphere. Now there are currently only two of these coasters on Earth, the other being King Ka. So just to review these classifications, a hypercoaster is a ride with a drop between 200 and 299 feet. Then there's Gigas with 300 to 399 feet, and finally Strata coasters are with drops over 400 feet. The other caveat to this category is that coasters must be full circuit, not shuttle coasters. Otherwise, rides such as Superman Escape from Krypton would be Strata coasters, but they're not. When the day does finally come where a 500-foot coaster is built, I'm sure we'll get another term, and it'll probably be Cedar Point. Moving on to actually different coaster types. Leading off are the intense and whippy inverted models. These are coasters where trains hang below the track. The most common manufacturers of these rides are B&M, Vekoma, and Intamin. Now these rides have been cloned and spread like wildfire. Intamin has launched versions in their Impulse coasters, and Vekoma has a line of family-friendly ones and even an inverted boomerang model. Now, speaking of boomerangs, there are a type of Vekoma shuttle coaster. A shuttle coaster is a ride that travels the track one way and then returns down the same section of track, typically backwards. Now, these have expanded past boomerangs to multi-launch coasters and even some wooden shuttle coasters. Next is the flying coaster. Now this is a type of coaster that hangs rider under the track, similar to inverts, but it's in a flying position, kind of like Superman. Now B&M and Vekoma are the major builders of these rides, Vekoma now with two different generations of models. Now the aim of these rides is to mimic that sensation of flight. Now a somewhat similar experience can be found on wing coasters. Now these rides hang riders off the side of the track in a sit-down position. They feel very open and extremely free when compared to the average sit-down rides. And while these aren't as common as some of the other model types we talked about, they are growing in popularity, especially with the addition of the 4D free spins from S&S. Now a 4D coaster spins riders on a separate axis from the track, flipping them independently of the course. S&S has added a long list of clones throughout the United States, with more planned for the next couple of years. The original 4D coaster was built by Aerodynamics, and it's called X at Six Flags Magic Mountain. The final type of ride that we're going to talk about today will be the hybrid coaster. This is a ride with a mix of steel and wood. RMC has made this concept extremely popular, using old wooden supports with new steel track, but other companies have used steel supports and wood track. The combinations are aimed to add a smoother ride experience than a traditional woody, while allowing for more extreme and exciting elements. So that's going to end today's lecture. While these aren't all the types of coasters out there, they make up a major portion of them. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. And as always, follow Island Coasters on Instagram for daily content. And that will dismiss class today. So till next time, that's all from the shores of Island Coasters.